Well, the controversy that never dies with Marvel Comics. I'm going to go into the deal with C.B. Cebulski, who is Marvel's editor in chief, and his past of Akira Yoshida in a second. But for now, I want you to back the Cosmic Warrior. This link is in the description below. Please grab this. It's the last day of my campaign. It's not going any longer. This is it. This is the alternative to Gay Superman that's out right now. And it presents a strong male lead who actually stands for American values like truth, justice, and the American way. Remember those? We don't have those in comics anymore, or so you thought. It's an award-winning graphic novel. Everybody absolutely loves it. It's a lot of fun. You can see an awesome strong male lead fighting a monster right here. This is what comics used to be, and I want you to check it out today. All right, back it. Thank you, everybody who supports the channel, and let's get into the story of the day. Here we are. This is Daredevil's Showrunner. If you remember Daredevil on Netflix, it was a great show, actually. And this guy, his name's Stephen DeKnight, has been writing for Marvel, apparently, for a bit. But he cannot, in good conscience, do so any longer after, of course, his run ends. It's always funny how these guys take their stands, their quote stands, as soon as the run's about to end. This happened with the Hulk. Remember how they were going to fire Joe Bennett, who's been working for DC and Marvel forever because he dared like his president in Brazil, which I guess you're not allowed to do. They waited until the run was ended to announce it because they didn't want to kill sales of their current run. They never want to take stands that actually hit them financially. They only want to take stands when it's convenient and easy to do so. This is the hallmark of the social justice warrior. They're not warriors at all. They're a bunch of wimps is what it comes down to. So here's what Stephen DeKnight says.
It's completely unacceptable. Writing for Marvel is a childhood dream come true. My next issue comes out in December, but I can't, in good conscience, accept any additional work until this is resolved. I hope other creatives follow suit.
Now, what's he talking about? If you dig into this, it's just the fact that Marvel editor C.B. Cebulski exists. Now, Cebulski, like 10, 15 years ago, took a pseudonym to write for a Marvel manga project, and it was called Akira Yoshida. And he took this name. Akira is obviously the big anime, and Yoshida is another reference to an anime creator. And he used that pseudonym for a while. Now, apparently that's not okay because that is a Japanese-ish name. And C.B. Cebulski is, you guessed it, white. And that causes a huge problem. So, of course, all these white men also flip out about how he used this pseudonym a bajillion years ago and now has a job. Apparently, you're not allowed to have a job after you've, gone and crossed the social justice movement, 20 years ago or whatever. We saw that John Gruden had to step down yesterday for an email from 2011. It's that crazy at this point. Now, this guy can't handle it, or at least he's trying to virtue signal that he can't handle it because nobody actually cares about this for real. They dredge this up about Cebulski every couple years. When he was made editor-in-chief, they actually were going on about this like 3-4 years ago. It's not even news. And I actually wrote an article about it in the Federalist about how it's nonsense and just to leave people alone, of course, because that's what we always want here is people to be left alone. But, pseudonyms have been a thing in the writing industry for decades. You used to have a lot of women pretend to be men to write different science fiction things. DC Fontana, who is Dorothy Fontana, of course, used that name DC in order to write for Star Trek because she didn't want to have an appearance that she was a female writing Star Trek episodes. Of course, because, it would have looked a little different in the 60s. Now, nobody was outraged about that. In fact, everybody claps for them, saying it's stunning and brave for them to go do so. At this point, you have to be a minority or you have to be a female in order to get published anywhere with these companies. Stephen DeKnight is the last of this generation of any white males who's going to get hired anywhere. And so, it makes sense to use pseudonyms in certain instances. I'm going to be writing a romance novel very shortly. I'm going to use a pseudonym, a female pseudonym for that because it just makes sense in the romance industry. It's a normal thing to do, but you're not allowed to do it in this way. You have to be the minority, bravely pretending to be a white male. Otherwise, you're racist and sexist. How does that make sense? It doesn't. But in SJW minds, This is exactly what they do to try to destroy people's careers every time. Now, look, I'm not a huge fan of CB Cebulski. I'm not a huge fan of Marvel. I think they're all a bunch of social justice loons, and I think that they're just eating their own in this instance. But it's ridiculous to watch, and it's ridiculous to see that this guy is trying to, I guess, not write comics, which probably doesn't even matter for him anyway if he's in Hollywood. I mean, this is probably just a fun little side gig. Not like Marvel pays people money anyway. In order to make this weird virtue signal. It's such a stupid story, but this is what we have in comics these days. Stupid stories. All right. If you want to avoid stupid stories, and then the best way to do so is to support the independent alternatives like the Cosmic Warrior. Again, please back this today. It's the last day. I appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. Do you even think this controversy is going to pick up steam, or is this just some guy's rant on Twitter? Let me know. Leave a comment down below, and we'll be back soon.